You like to think that your thoughts are reliable, that your mind is giving you accurate information about yourself and the world. But what if I told you that your thoughts are not only unreliable, they are often distorted, biased, and misleading? The uncomfortable truth is this: you can't fully trust your own thoughts. Every single day, your brain filters, edits, and manipulates reality in ways that feel real but are far from objective truth. Let's start with the simple fact that your brain is not designed to be accurate. It's designed to be efficient and to keep you alive. That means it takes shortcuts, fills in gaps, and prioritizes survival over truth. This is why you see patterns that don't exist, why you misremember events, and why you believe things that later turn out to be completely false. The human mind is a master storyteller, and it constantly spins narratives that feel convincing, even when they're completely wrong. Think about memory. You might believe your memories are like a video recording of your past, stored neatly in your brain. In reality, memories are reconstructions, not recordings. Every time you recall an event, your brain rebuilds it from fragments influenced by your current emotions, expectations, and even suggestions from others. Over time, memories shift and distort, yet you still feel absolutely confident in them. This is why eyewitness testimony can be dangerously unreliable. People genuinely believe they are telling the truth, even when their memories are inaccurate. Your own thoughts about your past cannot always be trusted. Perception is no different. Optical illusions are the obvious example, but they reveal a deeper truth. Your brain doesn't passively receive information, it actively interprets it. The color you see, the sounds you hear, even the way you perceive time are influenced by context and expectation. This means your thoughts about what's happening right now are not raw reality. They're a construction, a model your brain has created. And while this model is useful for survival, it can mislead you in profound ways. Then there are cognitive biases, the hidden rules your brain uses to process information. Confirmation bias makes you seek out information that supports what you already believe, while ignoring evidence that challenges you. Anchoring bias makes you overly influenced by the first piece of information you receive. The availability heuristic tricks you into believing something is more common or likely simply because it is easier to recall. These biases shape your thoughts every day, and yet they feel natural, invisible, and true. Emotions add another layer of distortion. When you're anxious, your thoughts exaggerate threats. When you're angry, your thoughts become harsher and more absolute. When you're sad, your thoughts might convince you that you're worthless or hopeless, even when this is far from reality. These are not objective truths. They are temporary states of mind, masquerading as facts. The problem is, your brain doesn't label them as distortions. They feel just as real and convincing as any other thought. One of the most deceptive tricks of the mind is the illusion of certainty. You feel confident in your judgments, your decisions, and your beliefs, even when they're based on incomplete or false information. Neuroscience shows that confidence and accuracy are not the same thing. You can be very confident in a completely wrong thought. In fact, the more emotional a thought is, the more convincing it feels. This illusion makes it incredibly difficult to separate truth from distortion in your own mind. Your thoughts about yourself are also unreliable. Self-criticism, self-doubt, and negative self-talk are often products of your upbringing, your environment, or random emotional states, not objective reflections of who you are. Yet when your mind whispers, "You're not good enough," or "You'll never succeed," it feels like truth. The reality is, these thoughts are just mental events, fleeting signals in the brain, not facts about your identity. Believing them blindly can trap you in cycles of low self-esteem and self-sabotage. Even your sense of control is questionable. Psychologists call this the illusion of control, the belief that your actions influence outcomes that are actually random. Gamblers rolling dice harder for higher numbers, athletes with lucky rituals, or even everyday superstitions are examples of this trick. Your brain gives you the comforting thought that you are in charge, when in reality, Much is governed by chance and external forces. This false sense of control makes life feel safer, but it's another thought you can't fully trust. So what does this mean for you? Should you doubt every single thought you have? Not exactly. The key is to recognize that thoughts are not facts. They are interpretations, guesses, and sometimes outright lies. Instead of automatically believing every thought, you can learn to observe them, question them, and test them. This is where practices like mindfulness become powerful. By noticing your thoughts without immediately identifying with them, you create space to evaluate whether they're accurate or just mental noise. For example, if your thought says, "I'm going to fail," you can step back and ask, "Is this a fact or just my anxiety talking?" If your thought says, "Everyone is judging me," you can challenge it. Do I have real evidence for that? Or is it just the spotlight effect? By creating distance between yourself and your thoughts, you weaken their grip over your emotions and behavior. Another practical tool is journaling. Writing down your thoughts forces you to slow down and examine them critically. Many times, a thought that feels overwhelming in your head looks irrational when written on paper. Journaling also helps you spot recurring patterns, biases, distortions, or negative loops that keep repeating. Once you see these patterns clearly, you can begin to dismantle them. It's also helpful to seek external perspectives. Because your mind is biased, it can be valuable to check your thoughts with trusted friends, mentors, or even scientific evidence. What feels absolutely true inside your head may look very different from an outside perspective. This doesn't mean you should dismiss your inner world, but it does mean you should hold your thoughts lightly, with curiosity, rather than blind belief. Ultimately, the message is this: your thoughts are mental events, not truths. They are shaped by biases, emotions, memories, and illusions. They guide you, but they also mislead you. The more you believe them without question, the more you risk living in a distorted version of reality. But the more you observe, question, and test them, the closer you get to truth. So next time a thought pops into your head, whether it's about yourself, someone else, or the future, pause. Ask yourself, is this thought fact, or is it just my brain playing tricks? That pause is power. It gives you the freedom to choose your response rather than being ruled by mental illusions. Your mind will always create stories. Some will be helpful, others harmful. But you don't have to believe every single one. By learning to distrust your thoughts, just enough to question them, you gain clarity, freedom, and control over your life. The truth is, you can't fully trust your own thoughts. But with awareness, you don't have to. You can trust your ability to see through them and act with intention instead of illusion.